You know what? We should do a special edition for this. FoolishWorks presents the Hypothetical Hour, a show where one person has failed us miserably. You only had one job to do. It's Darian. Why did you set him up to this?
This podcast has naughty words. If you don't like it, fuck ya.
FoolishWorks presents the Hypothetical Hour, asterisk.
Welcome to FoolishWorks presents the Hypothetical Hour, the show where a group of thespians congregate to discuss the most important questions in life. On the panel today, behold the Lord High Executioner, it's Darian! He is a very model of a modern Major General. It's Jake and Ryan.
Yeah, see, that was good.
Yeah,
That was good? Okay.
I think I might have maxed out the audio on this too when I was yelling, but never mind.
We'll fix it in
Doesn't
post.
matter.
It's audio.
You can't fix that in post. Let's not lie to ourselves. Some things cannot be fixed in post.
You're an asshole.
That can't be fixed in post either.
I hate you! I hate you so much!
I love you both.
Alright, read out our listener-submitted answer from last week. That is totally uploaded already. It was uploaded on the 31st.
Yeah.
No questions.
Absolutely on time. The listeners have heard it. They have
Enjoyed it?
enjoyed it. They have enjoyed it very much. Very much. Everything went off without a hitch. And here's our favorite listener-supported answer.
Submitted answer.
It was just one word. It was no. So yeah.
Was it just no
Actually,
once, or was it repeated several
It was
times?
just no once. And no, okay, the subject was also no. So yeah.
Was it anonymous, or did they leave a username?
It just says no.
Right. The body of the text is no.
The subject is no, the body is no, the sender is no at no.no. I'm pretty sure that's spoofed. Yeah, it just says no.
Well, we're obviously popular if we're getting mail.
Yes, extremely.
On to deciding the turn order. How are we deciding the turn order today, Darian?
I don't know. I don't have the page open.
Ryan, how are we deciding turn order today?
I don't know. It's
the Mornington Crescent thing. You need to run this, Ryan.
I don't even understand.
Well, no,
what it is.
but I've got here list the Gilbert and Sullivan plays, then list them backwards. Divide it by that Italian play with the sad clown, which I've forgotten the title of.
Right.
And then allocate to each supporting actor. So that leaves us with, since we only have 3 actors, it leaves us with the main, comical, and the tree.
Right.
So looking at our previous work history, I can see here that it's Jake, Darian, and then Ryan.
I wasn't listening, so I'll agree.
Okay. On to the scenarios. I guess I'm first.
Are you? Are you first, Jake?
Am I first?
Yeah, are you first?
I'm first.
Okay,
I'm
I thought you were
first.
Jake, but if you're first...
Wait, who's on first?
Jake,
What?
I think.
Jake's on first. Right. Okay. I'm up.
Yeah, no. Well, maybe? I thought you were first.
I'm pretty sure I was first. You are sentenced to life in prison without parole or reprieve. You have 1 day before you have to hand yourself in, or the bobbies snatch you away from your loved ones.
That was not written in the question.
What will you do with your
There are no
last day
bobbies.
Okay, no
you,
bobbies?
You can't use that word. That's their word.
That's their word. Well, we're
Cultural
kind of...
appropriation, Jake.
We're
We're
kind
not
of British.
We're not British.
That's cultural appropriation, Jake.
It's
I'm ashamed
cultural
of you.
appropriation. I won't stand for it.
No, I'll sit down.
But I like it. I'm British, don't you say? Oh, gosh.
Well, could you lend me a couple quid then?
Oh, yeah? Alright, and we could go have a bit of a cheeky Nando's.
Lend me some dosh, will you, mate?
They're all gonna hate us.
Cheeky Nando's sounds like a sex thing.
Yeah, I thought it was too.
You are sentenced to life in prison without parole or reprieve. You have 1 day before you have to hand yourself in. What will you do with your last day of freedom? If you try to escape, how do you attempt to escape? Do you succeed or fail?
Actually, before we go into the question, did you think when you were reading that about to say you were sentenced to life in cheeky Nando's? You're sentenced to a life of deliciousness.
Sentenced to
hot
cheeky
peri peri
Nando's
sauce.
without peri-peri. Anyway, so yeah, me, I'm gonna go the boring route and answer it seriously. Assuming that I actually did whatever crime I am accused of and it's not something stupid like, political dissidence or something, something that could get me out with a change of regime, as it were. Probably just kill myself. Because that doesn't sound...
Wow.
Yeah, well, life in prison doesn't sound very fun.
You know, we are a comedy
We are a
podcast, Darian.
Listen,
We're a comedy podcast,
Okay,
and you just
okay.
suggested you're going to commit suicide.
I'd commit suicide in a clown suit. I'd rent a clown costume, kiss that deposit goodbye, because they're not getting that suit back in one piece. But yeah, assuming I didn't do it, or it was one of the aforementioned stupid crimes, then probably just spend all my savings on hookers and blow, and then turn myself in after contacting the Innocence Project. Well, maybe not the blow, because then I would have done a crime. Maybe just gambling.
I mean, if you got it in a place where it's legal, I'm not sure if that place exists, but...
Yeah.
So are you killing yourself, or are you not killing yourself?
If I did it, then I'd kill myself. If I didn't do it, spend everything on hookers and gambling, and then I'd turn myself in after contacting the Innocence Project, which are, of course, they investigate these cases and things.
I've heard of the Innocence Project before. I'm just not sure if they take your case.
Yeah, they
after...
probably wouldn't. So the equivalent of it, because I'm pretty sure they work on cases before good DNA evidence was a thing.
Right.
Pretty sure, but if I didn't do it, and I can convince someone I didn't do it.
I mean, what if it was something you did? What if it's something you did that you were proud of?
That would fall under the political dissidence sort of thing, where I just go to jail and sit there and be like, haha.
Oh, so you'd just be boring.
I'd just be boring. What am I gonna do? How am I gonna escape? Come on, you've seen me. What am I gonna do?
Play Fallout 4?
Yeah, exactly. I just play Fallout 4 and they come arrest me and take me to jail forever.
You had one job, Darian. One job.
All right, Ryan, answer the question.
I don't want to, Jake. I don't think I want to. But if I did, if I did, and I probably have to because now I've committed myself to this podcast. I would not be in prison. I would go into hiding for a few good years. The way this question is worded, anyway. And then I'd reappear as a presidential candidate, running on a platform to shut down that prison, because that prison has a terrible program if they're releasing prisoners on the last day of their execution, before their execution. I mean, come on. What kind of prison are they running, Jake, here? A terrible one, that's for sure.
Why are you getting executed?
There was no mention of execution, Ryan. Just life in prison. Look, this isn't
Life
the
in
US,
prison isn't
Ryan.
Execution, Jake.
We're talking about Australia. There's no
capital
death
punishment.
sentences.
Unless Ryan, were you smuggling drugs to Indonesia in your butthole?
Oh, he might have been doing
I'm
that.
pretty sure he was doing that.
No, I was
sounds
not.
Like
Ryan, just to let you know,
is
smuggling
essentially-
things up your butthole isn't hygienic, nor is it healthy.
Especially not to
Life
Indonesia.
imprisonment is a death sentence. That's the whole point of life imprisonment.
Okay,
You're in there for life.
I guess
You're
that's,
still
I
alive.
guess that's
You can still see your
technically
loved
true,
one.
They
But,
slowly execute you, Jake, through aging.
but life is also a death sentence, so
Wow, I didn't realize we get this philosophical.
It's
it's not really philosophical. It's about as
Well, life is a death sentence is a very
it's
very
about
heavy
as deep
statement.
Yeah, it's heavy.
It's an illusion of freedom.
It's heavy like a kiddie pool, but it's also shallow like a kiddie pool.
So you're saying life is like a kiddie pool?
Life is like a kiddie pool. You never know what you're gonna get,
Except
for water, plastic, and pee.
disappointment.
And disappointment.
And possibly some little feces floating around, because kids don't know how to toilet.
Well, how young are we talking here, Ryan? Because
Well, it's
Even my nephew, he's what, 2.5. He, wears diapers, Ryan.
Yeah, but
actually, any baby young enough would be wearing a diaper or a nappy.
we don't call them diapers here.
I don't know. I've been too Americanized, haven't I?
Yeah. What the hell's wrong with you?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I need to be more strine.
Maybe a bit less strine. That's a bit too extreme. You've gone from one extreme to the other. Just
In a span of
you've
1.5 minutes.
You've leapt over the middle in a single bound. You're like Bogan Superman, and I don't like it.
That's just the guy I am, Darian. It's just the guy I am.
Superman tried to get to Perth. Miss Perth went around the world and ended up in America. But anyway, Jake, let's get back to the question here. What would you do on the last day of your life being sentenced to prison?
Visit Canberra. No.
Why would you?
Canberra is the prison.
No, I'd have a huge party. I'd have a huge party at my place so I could spend my final hours of freedom with my family and friends. After the big party, of course, I would then place myself in suspended... And after my big party, I would then place myself in suspended animation so as not to endure life in prison unless I'm being visited by my family or friends.
But would they let you? would they let you do that?
Well, no. I have the suspended animation machine in my garage, and so they would have no choice but to take the machine with them after I've just stepped in after the party.
Wouldn't they just take you out of the machine?
Well, no, I'd lock myself in.
They just unlock it. They've got all the time in the world.
Yep.
Well, they're gonna have to pry me from my cold undead hands.
Besides, if they take the whole machine, it doesn't have a self-contained power source. If they just unplug it.
Of course, it has its self-contained power source.
That's ridiculous. You can't miniaturize a power source like that.
On the subject
it is powered by fusion.
Now, come on! I know this is the hypothetical hour, but that is a step too far.
Look, it's the Mr. Fusion. It's the Mr. Fusion from Back to the Future too. Okay?
Yeah, that's good.
On the subject of cryogenics and prison sentences, I never understood in the 80s why they were so obsessed with cryogenically freezing prisoners in the sci-fi movies and that. Like,
yeah, that
is
weird. I mean, the only upside really is you don't really have to feed them.
That's the major upside.
Yeah, but the whole point.
You don't kill them.
You don't have to deal with their violence. You don't have to deal with them complaining.
Yeah, but the problem is the whole
Actually,
point,
there are quite a few upsides to it.
Yeah, but the whole point of prison is that you have to have prisoners languishing in a confined area for day in and day out, and let them think about their thing. Putting them in cryogenical freezing is just like just going for a nap for 20 years.
All right,
basically.
let's be real. The prison system is supposed to be about reformation, but it's not. Nobody bothers with reformation. So the cryogenic freezing is just the logical end game. You don't have to care for them. There's no chance of violence. They can't escape because they're frozen. And it sidesteps the ethical morals of execution, even though you're basically doing the same thing.
I disagree that it's the logical conclusion. I think the logical conclusion is brainwashing and re-education.
No, I don't think so.
I think
too much effort.
Eventually they're just going to wipe people's brains and put new memories in.
No, see, that's
what they're going to do.
That's just as unethical
they're going to
as
make
the execution.
them mindless slaves. It is unethical,
More
but I think
unethical,
that's where we're going. I think that I'm not saying that it's ethical. I'm saying that's the logical conclusion to the current prison system that we have now.
I don't really agree with that.
You've played the first hour here of Fallout, Darian.
I've played the first 30 hours of Fallout, thank you.
Yes, but you know, they just went, oh, Mr. Smith, we'll just put you in this decontamination chamber. Psych, it's a cryogenic chamber. We lied to you.
Yeah,
and then you saw your wife
That's
die.
a very different
thing. And then you woke
thing.
up in a wasteland.
That's a very different thing, because that
was
was in a nuclear apocalypse. We're not talking about...
There was no need for them to lie to that poor person.
I still haven't played Fallout at all.
You haven't played Fallout at all?
Not at all.
Well, pick up Fallout 3 or New Vegas or both when they go on. They regularly go on sale for like a few bucks for the Game of the Year edition. So
it's good.
Yeah, they're pretty good. I mean, they're a Bethesda game, so you know.
As in versus Skyrim, like versus Skyrim.
You played
how
Skyrim?
Good?
It's Skyrim with guns and the VAT system, which is like you can sort of go into. It's like you pause the game and then you have a certain number of action points, and you can like choose body parts to target and shoot at in combat. Body parts have different health, so like you can cripple limbs and things. It's pretty good. It's a Bethesda game, so you know the old cliche applies, which is wide as an ocean, deep as a puddle. There's lots of things to do, but it's not very deep.
I mean, I thought Skyrim was kind of deep-ish.
It's very fun.
It's like a kiddie pool.
The general agreement, I believe, is that New Vegas is better than Fallout 3, but personally, I think Fallout 3 has more replayability. I think I just don't like the story of New Vegas as much. But yeah.
Well, the next time it goes on sale, I'll give it a look at.
It's very cool, and Fallout 4 is... Well, I like it a lot more. I think they've done a lot of cool things with it.
Alright, moving on to the next question.
Alright, here we go. Okay, a new species has been discovered. Give it a name. Briefly describe the creature. What were the circumstances under which it was discovered, and why does its discovery herald the end of humanity as we know it? Ryan.
The tricky one. Well, I'd probably discover a creature called the Monstrum Maximus. Essentially, it's like a lizard, but only the size of a skyscraper. And breathes fire.
So Gojira. Gojira.
Well, you've just completely ruined that entire joke now, Darian. I was going to say, I found it on a desolate volcanic island in the South Pacific and then seasonally migrates to Japan during the summer.
Gojira. Hi, Gojira desu.
So why does it herald the end of humanity as we know it?
It's a giant lizard that breathes fire, Jake.
It's Gojira.
That's a good point.
Yeah, and we can't nuke it because that just makes it stronger.
Unless we get like a team of 5 adolescent.
A team of 5 teenagers with attitude.
Actually, no. All we need is Bryan Cranston at the beginning of the film.
And then
then he
combining
dies.
together into a giant robot and then fighting the Monstrum Maximus and saving Tokyo by destroying half of it.
Why don't we build giant robots that are controlled by teenagers' imaginations, but the teenagers get emotionally and psychologically ruined and can accidentally be melded into the machines?
So we're talking, what, like Godzilla meets Evangelion meets Power Rangers meets thingy. Oh, fuck, how did I forget the name?
Meets a magical girl anime.
You know, the one where the gimmick was 2 people in it. There was the Australians.
South Pacific.
Not South Pacific.
No, that's the musical.
South Pacific.
A streetcar
No,
named
Pacific
Desire.
Rim. God damn it! It's Pacific. It is Pacific Rim. Why did I think South
I
Pacific?
don't know. What's wrong with you?
Although a Pacific Rim musical would be fucking amazing.
Yes, we need a Pacific Rim musical. That would be the best thing ever to happen. Yes.
Actually, be a really cool idea for duets and things.
It would. It would be great.
Yeah.
It could be great. You could have them singing in harmony, and then, like, when they're clashing, they're suddenly not singing in harmony.
So essentially,
It'd be great.
it's a light opera.
Somebody write it!
Okay, I will try to write Pacific Rim the musical.
Okay, I'm not sure you have the copyright.
Oh, that's okay. I'll write it and then I'll send it to the creators of Pacific Rim and see if they like it. And then they can steal it, and then I will be one of those mad people wandering around saying, "They stole my idea for that musical, you know," and they'll be like, "Yeah, sure, old Jake."
What do you say, crazy old homeless Jake?
Yeah.
Which is ironic, because you're a homeowner, you're young, and you're quite sane.
Yes.
Yes, crazy Jake. Answer the question.
Crazy old homeless Jake.
I'll answer the question. The species that has been discovered is called a bingoon. The bingoon is 8 feet tall, beetle-like, and is shaped like a bear. It has long, thin, purple spines covering its back, and its underside is green, soft, and jelly-like. It smells very faintly of watermelon.
How does it taste?
Like
I assume
watermelon.
very faintly of watermelon.
Ah.
It's to attract flies because it eats flies.
Oh, I see. Must eat a lot of flies.
It must be Lord of the
It would
Flies.
eat a lot of flies. It's like a whale in that
It's
respect.
8 feet tall. Yeah, it'd eat a lot of flies.
Yeah, I mean, it would probably make all the flies go extinct.
Unless it's like 8 feet tall and 2 centimeters across.
Unless there was like a species of flies that was the size of dogs.
Well, no, it's the shape
Actually,
of a
that'd be
bear, so it wouldn't be 2 centimeters across.
Maybe it is the shape of a bear
Dog
from
flies
the
flies.
side.
Like a very malnourished bear?
No, from the side it looks like a bear, but head on it's just a line. It's like a 2-dimensional bear.
A 2D bear beetle thing.
It's a flat bear.
Anyway, it was discovered by a gentleman by the name of Harold von Pinkerbottom of the Linguini Institute while he was searching for his keys between the cushions of his sofa.
Did you just do like a Mad Lib? Is that what you're doing here?
Yep,
What?
you did a Mad Lib.
No, that wasn't a mad
I'm pretty
lib.
sure
did
you're
Mad
doing
Lib.
a Mad Lib.
Life imprisonment, no parole.
No, I thought of that myself. That wasn't a mad lib at
50
all.
years in the dungeon.
Von Pinkerbottom had just received new prescription glasses the day before. He realized during his search his sofa had been a bingoon all along.
This is 100% an ad lib.
It's not an ad lib. It's not.
It's
I wrote
100%.
this myself.
Yeah, you
Word
wrote
prison,
you wrote
on
it
top of
yourself,
word
and then you
crimes.
filled in all the adjectives and nouns.
No, that's not.
50 years in the penitentiary. No parole.
Anyway, as it turns out, the bingoon was playing a game of hide and seek the whole time. After being found, the bingoon reset the simulation the universe had been running under since the dawn of time, apparently virtual time. Since the simulation ceases, life as we know it ends, and we restart the simulation for another round of Find the Bingoon.
That sounds that's a very convoluted game.
Yeah, everyone in the world is playing this game.
Except nobody knows it.
Whatever happened to find the kitten at the
the universe has
townhouse
probably been reset already. Probably several times, you know. Who will be the next person to find the bingoon?
It's Jim. It's always fucking Jim.
Well, last time was
Actually, I
Harold.
have a question about this bingoon. What happens if it goes on a journey of self-discovery?
It finds itself.
Well, then it resets the simulation indefinitely, and thus the universe will never exist.
Well, we're stuffed then.
Well, no, we're virtual. We can't be stuffed.
We can, if you set the
virtually
right
stuffed.
settings.
Can you stuff a virtual thing?
Of course you
Yeah,
can.
we're virtually stuffed.
With virtual stuffing.
Oh, okay. Well, that was pretty easy to answer.
Yes, Darian, what's your amazing creature?
Alright, mine is the veiny goner.
The veiny goner?
The veiny goner. The name refers to its mottled coloration, brown spots on red skin, closely packed and giving the appearance of being webbed with veins. But it's not actually very veiny. It's quite smooth. It was discovered during an environmental survey of an industrial area. It's a small, common, unthreatening lizard, and it's completely harmless.
Right. So why does it herald the end of humanity as we know it?
It only survives in an atmosphere with a CO2 level above 5%. Oh my god, the possums are fighting in my roof. Can you hear them?
No.
I can't hear
They
them at
might
all.
be on the recording.
Darian's going crazy.
It'll be on the recording.
They might
it's
not
fine.
be because I'm using my shitty mic, but the possums are in the roof, scrabbling around and screaming.
And this was the first time we found that Darian was descending into madness.
So why does it herald the end of humanity as we know it?
They only survive in an atmosphere with a CO2 level above 5%.
Essentially, we cannot live in an atmosphere above 5% of CO2
I'm
levels.
suggesting that they are a creature that has adapted to a situation that's already bad for humanity.
Right.
Yep.
So, well, if they discovered it, wouldn't they die before they discovered it? It
was discovered during a survey of an industrial area where the atmosphere is worse
Localized.
than the rest of it. But it's once the planet's that far gone, I think that's a point of no return in it.
That's fair enough.
Hopefully we would have colonized Mars by then.
So it's more of a red flag than anything.
A brown and red flag, yes.
A brown and red flag. Not so veiny, though,
No,
as it seems.
Not as veiny at all as it seems.
Pack up your shuttles and go to space. Colonize the moon, or Mars, or both.
What if I don't want to colonize the moon or Mars?
Well, try Venus.
That'd be a terrible idea.
Yeah.
Venus is probably one of the most inhospitable planets in the solar
Yeah,
system.
that's why I'm sending you there.
Why? Why am I all of a sudden going to Venus?
Fuck
Because
you.
we're
No,
doomed
I'd
to a
lie.
life of sitting on uncomfortable lounges and lukewarm tea.
I don't want to go to another planet. I wouldn't mind going to space, but I don't want to go to another planet. I'd die.
Well, you probably die in space too.
Yeah, but space has absolutely nothing. At least the planet has rocks and dirt and an atmosphere.
Poisonous
It has
gases.
some things, really.
Think about just the epicness of being killed by nothing.
Okay.
As opposed to being killed by something so mundane as a rock.
You must think it's pretty epic to be a then.
I'm going to cut that.
Yeah,
It's not funny. It's just sad.
yeah. Darian's really bringing this podcast down tonight.
Yeah, first he commits suicide, then he makes me seem like a terrible person.
Well, you are a terrible
Accuses
person.
me of smuggling drugs.
In your arsehole, don't forget that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very unhygienic, Ryan. You shouldn't do that.
And if one bursts, then you're pretty much just dead.
Yeah.
People, there's probably a psychiatrist sitting at home now listening to all of our episodes going, this Ryan, he's a psychotic murderer who smuggles drugs in his rear end.
I'm pretty sure if a psychiatrist started listening to the podcast, he'd be billing us. or
Excuse me, I did an
They
online
would be billing
psychopathic
us.
test and I got a 6. You need to have at least a minimum of 12 to be considered a psychopathic. I'm halfway there. Darian.
Yes.
Oh yeah, you already told
I
us your
already did
thing.
it.
I suppose it's my question now.
Yeah, it's your question.
What is the next big blockbuster of 2016?
Spaceballs 2, the switch for more money.
I wouldn't
I
mind that.
wish.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah.
How fucking great would that be? No, my actual answer, even though that would be fucking amazing. It's the only logical answer, really. BattleBots, the movie.
Wasn't there already a movie about that? Made by that guy that did District 9? Oh no, that was Charlie about a self-aware robot.
No, BattleBots, the movie. You know BattleBots?
BattleBots, that was one of the two main series where you...
There was BattleBots and not Beast Wars. Beast Wars
was
the
a Transformers
thing.
spin-off.
Robot
I'm gonna have
Wars.
to fact
Robot
check
Wars.
Real Steel.
BattleBots is the American one, and it's recently been renewed.
Yes.
I saw the last
Yes.
season, and
I remember watching
Bronco,
that as
by
a
the way.
kid. I think it was on when we had Foxtel.
I remember getting up you'd have to get up at 5:30 in the morning on a Saturday to watch Robot Wars, because it was on
Yeah.
at 6, and my absolute favourite robot was Chaos 2.
I don't remember.
Chaos 2, pretty much the best flipping robot ever made.
I think I've seen that like in compilations on YouTube, and it was really amazing.
The other popular popular robot of the time was Razor.
Was that the one with the claw?
Yeah. It was the first pinching robot.
Yeah, the pinchy one.
And they're very popular now. I think there were 3 pinching robots in the last BattleBots.
Well, yeah, they're very powerful because they're focusing all the force on one tiny point. So
Yeah. Oh, they're very effective.
Yeah.
Except when you've got 2 pinching robots fighting together, it looks more like they're dancing. Because they can't really
it's like
get.
Stag beetles.
They can't really get at each other.
It's a really cool show, but I'm curious how you'd make it into a movie.
Well, you just have a much larger tournament and just have it, go on for longer.
I'm not sold on it. Are there going to be robot love interests?
Yes, of course.
Okay, I'm sold.
There's already the forbidden love between Bronco and Tombstone. Actually, I wonder if there's any rule.
You're going to look up Rule 34 of BattleBot. Yeah, hold on. I'm looking at it. I'm looking it up.
Rule 34 on
BattleBots. I'm looking
Bronco
it up.
and Tombstone.
I'm looking it up.
Why does my questions always have to end up in a whole lot of debauchery?
No images found. Well, shit.
Well, now we've got to make
Now
it.
we've got to make it. I don't want to make this.
It's got to happen. Well, it's got to happen. It has to.
I guess I'll talk to the
We
guy.
could commission the guy.
I'll talk to the guy. He still owes me some pictures.
I'll speak with Margaret in finance.
What is the next big blockbuster of 2016, Darian?
The next big blockbuster of 2016, her name is Big Bertha, and she's an enormous crane that's going to be deployed to a lot of demolition sites. Do you get it?
Yeah.
Get it?
Someone edit your name.
She's busting blocks.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can we edit in some sound for that terrible joke?
I'll see what I can do.
Find some non-copyright
I need a
sound effects.
No, I need a bidum and a
Yeah, but
Yep.
Well, we'll see what we can do. Ryan?
Oh yes, it is my thing. Well, I'm going to go back to a more serious answer. I envision that the next big blockbuster of 2016 is War of the Wheat. It's a tragic period romance set in Western Australia in 1932, where Sergeant Jack John O'Huntley, veteran of Gallipoli, settles back in Australia with his wife Betsy to return to a peaceful life as a farmer from allotted land from the government. However, he's called back to action by Major Meredith to fight a new threat on the home front. And really, it's a movie based on the events of the Great Emu War of 1932.
I would watch that. Just based on that summary, I would watch that movie.
It's got everything there for the family. It's got romance. It's got romantic tension because Jono now has to decide whether or not he should fight for his country against this great emu plague, or be loyal to his wife Betsy, who doesn't want the emus killed because they're lovely birds, lovely big flightless birds. Which you wouldn't kill an ostrich, but they seem fine with killing emus.
I'd kill an ostrich. I'd snap its neck. I'd snap its fucking neck.
Well, actually, Darian, you give yourself too much credit. I think if you tried to snap an ostrich's neck, it would kill you.
No, I just walk up to the fucker and BAM! Knee in the neck.
I'm fairly certain you would die. No, I'm actually completely certain you would be killed by an ostrich.
I'd walk up to the ostrich, shoot it with a tranquilizer, then BAM! Knee in the neck.
Well, that's unfair, isn't it?
I don't fucking care. It's an ostrich. Fuck it.
For anyone who's not in Australia and has not heard of the Great Emu War, just do a search on Wikipedia and then come back to the podcast.
Hint: we lost.
We lost. Fucking emus, man.
We lost against emus. That's how good at war we are.
Don't discount emus. They are amazing tacticians.
Yep.
They are nature's soldiers. They are.
I'm pretty sure they were in cahoots with the cassowary.
Fucking
There's
cassowaries.
Well, cassowaries are just little more armoured emus, aren't they?
Cassowaries are emu plus, okay?
Yeah. An emu might be able to kill you, a cassowary will kill you. Regardless of whether it can or not, it will kill you.
Small emus are adorable, though.
And now, it's time for Terrible Superpowers. The terrible superpower for this week. You have the ability to possess starfish, one at a time. Starfish, of course, have poor senses and move an average of 9 miles per hour. While possessing one, you swear uncontrollably. Darian?
My turn. I go first.
Yes.
Well, alright, it's very simple. Very simple indeed. I team up with someone else, possibly one of you, whoever has the less scruples. You see, we're gonna scam people.
That'll be Jake.
Yeah, that'd be me.
You see, what I'd do is carry around a starfish. You'd pose as a Catholic priest.
I already like this idea.
We'd travel around. I'd possess the starfish, start swearing uncontrollably, speaking in tongues, etc. Because it's a superpower, you know. If you tested me, things would show up weird, you know. And then you exercise me. So, A, we scam people for money. B, we completely fuck up the realms of science and religion.
Ryan,
I'm not sure how to answer this.
use your imagination.
Or don't.
Alright, night at the improv.
What?
That's my answer, night at the improv.
Night at the improv.
Just
Do you want to expand on that?
Well, I take the starfish to the improv, control it, swear uncontrollably, comic success.
I'm not sure that's how improv works.
I'm not sure how improv works either.
I mean, it can work that way.
It is, yeah. It
All
is.
I know it's involved
It's
a brick
freeform.
wall.
Freeform.
Actually, I think you'd get more traction at like a poetry reading because it would be seen as edgy and artistic.
No, maybe probably not poetry. I'd say like an art gallery in Surrey Hills.
I would make a starfish mockumentary. I would film it myself by setting up the cameras first, and I would play all the roles, edit it afterwards. I would put myself into a soundproof booth while I was possessing the starfish, so I didn't corrupt the audio or anything, so people don't get disturbed by my swearingness. And then I would, after shooting, it would be kind of like the Blair Witch with starfish. So it would start out like a regular starfish documentary, and then the starfish would start to get murdered.
Couldn't you just do like a sob documentary story about how starfish possessed you to swear uncontrollably, and then send it to A Current Affair or Today Tonight?
I could do that, or I could recreate the Blair Witch Project with starfish. Now, which would you prefer to do, Ryan?
Blair Witch Project.
Exactly. I still can't wait until that last one down there. There's 2 more episodes until that last one. I can't wait for it.
Yes.
Alright, guys. Any final words? Any last thing to say? Say it now.
The safe word is custard.
Don't do drugs unless you want to.
Glue sticks are my best friend. Thank you for joining us here on FoolishWorks Presents the Hypothetical Hour. If you have any hypotheticals you would like us to discuss, or if you want to answer one of the questions mentioned in today's episode, you can email us here at hypotheticalhour@foolishworks.com. And if you want to continue listening to 3 guys discussing nothing of any particular consequence, head on over to foolishworks.com and subscribe.
Or find us on Pocket Casts.
Or iTunes.
I'm being chased by Sleepy Gerbil. Gerbil. Fuck. I'd kill an ostrich.